Hey, what's up, players? This is Teddy Long, Hall of Famer. Just want you to know you're listening to the DrHUGEshow, and you can believe that, player.
Oh my God, he's here. Oh my goodness, you did it, Steve. You're here.
Am I here?
You can hear me, and I can hear you. Yes, we're doing it. We're killing it right now.
Technology is not my friend. What the hell?
So, for those that don't know, this is the legendary Stephen Grillo from the Howard Stern Show back in the day. Now, I got to tell you before we even get started on this, my golden era of the Stern Show is more the serious years. I was in middle school, high school in the 90s, but I do know about you because you used to go on the show in the 2000s. Did Howard ever have you on again after that one? I remember the appearance when you had that brown leather jacket on and all that, and Baba Booey
right here. It's right here. Look, it's right there. Yeah.
I still have it. And Baba Booey always comes in on certain people's time. And it seemed like I watched it back a few days ago doing my research, and Baba Booey's just like blah, 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 like as you're in there. And I'm like, the guy hasn't been in here in years. Can we hear him talk? Like, first of all, what's your take on this Baba Booey? You like the Baba Booey?
I do like the Baba Booey. I got to be honest. I was kind of on the lucky end of the Baba Booey because there's a lot of people, all the people that worked there, that they were like, they didn't like him. I think it was more of like a male kind of thing because he was more of like friendly to the females, and I'm not saying he was like a jerk or inappropriate. Some people get along with females, and some people don't. Gary did, and I'm not saying he cheated or did anything inappropriate.
Of course not.
Because I would think at this stage in the game, it would have been like something that might have been public. Gary got along with, he worked better with women than he did with men. And I was one of the few people that were on that short end of the stick. So when I did work there, Gary and me got along very well. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never been hired there. So
yeah, so you just like him. Yeah. That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I remember listening back in the day, and I would always feel bad for Gary, but I was also a young kid. And then now
you were a young kid. Imagine being there in the studio at 19 years old, listening to Gary get his ass handed to him for an hour and a half, and then have to deal with him when he comes into the office with his head in his hand, like almost practically crying.
Yeah. But like I said, listening back though, now that I'm older, I don't know what it is about Gary. He annoys me. I think it's the cadence in which he speaks. He speaks like really fast, and he's got that New York accent. Like, I don't know what kind of New York accent. I don't notice. Like, you have a New York accent, but it doesn't bother me. Like, he's always annoying.
Yeah. No, but I think it's also probably the fact that he's got to get that tongue around those giant teeth and lips.
That's right, Coach.
You get a little like focused on that, and then you forget what he's saying, and then you have to go back, and then you feel like an idiot because you weren't paying attention, because you were too focused on his tongue. Getting it across those giant teeth so he can talk again. You know what I'm saying? There was a whole process.
So let's just talk about the book real quick. Get that right out of the way. I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not going to, meander on about things and try to make it all about me and stuff. You're out here. You're promoting a book. What is the book called, and where can everybody find it?
It's called. Hold on a second, real quick. Sorry, 1 second. Stay with me, man. Gee, I have the book right here. Okay, it's Gorilla Parts.
Nice.
Okay. I had a lot of back and forth about the title, and I came up with Gorilla Parts because I figured I might give a little tribute to Private Parts, which meant a lot to me because I worked on that movie and I worked on that book, and Gorilla wasn't the name he gave me. It was a nickname. If you read the book, it was a nickname that tortured me my whole entire childhood. And the first time I walked into the studio is the first thing that he called me, which is kind of ironic. It was a culmination of both of those. A tribute to Private Parts and a tribute to, but the name he gave me that it is where we are. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it was so I did that, and it's not just a book about like him. I have a lot of great stories. I have a lot of great friends. I got like a lot of great families, and this is a tribute to all that. It's not just like a Howard Stern book. It's not.
Right. Well, because you've been in Hollywood, you were on The Sopranos. I know my boy Sleaze out here, one of my co-hosts in the Dr. Huge show here. He comes on every Saturday, folks. Check it out. But he loves The Sopranos. So I've seen you on there. I've seen Eric, High Pitch Eric was on there. But
Yeah,
you had a more
not a fan. But go ahead.
role.
What was that?
I said you had a more prominent role than him, though, I believe. But
you believe? Yeah, a lot more prominent role than he did. Yes. Not a fan of his, but I said a lot of nice things about some of the old Whack Pack, like Fred the Elephant Boy, God rest his soul, Crackhead Bob, Kenneth Keith Callenbach. They were all part of like his show back in the day that made it that much more interesting. And I was never part of that, but I had to work with those guys. And I corral them, I guess you might call, different situations, different events, and they were all just so much fun, and I loved them all. I'm not too much of a fan of like Larry and High Pitch and stuff like that, because I don't know, they use the show in a way that I just didn't appreciate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. High Pitch was a little. He was a scammer, man. For being such a low IQ guy, he scammed the shit out of everyone.
No. You could say he's a low IQ guy, and that might be true, but he knows how to use his low IQ. He knew how to get. He almost got me fired from one of the nightclubs I worked at because he called up and said, Grillo said that I was on the VIP list tonight and I should get 2 bottles of Absolute. And thank God it was, there was 2 owners. Thank God it was the one owner, not the other one, because if the other owner, I would have been fired. He would have got me fired from my job.
Holy shit.
And he lied. He was like, Grillo said that, yeah, I want to come in. I got VIP status, 2 bottles of G, Absolute. It's just not cool. I didn't appreciate that, and I never really appreciated it to begin with. You want to give me Fred the Elephant Boy, Crackhead Bob, Kenneth Keith Callenbach all day? Awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's a dickhead.
What was your favorite, what's the thing that ever made you laugh the hardest on the Stern show?
Gilbert Godfrey. Gilbert Godfrey was by far the funniest thing that ever walked through that show. Or Pat Cooper.
Yeah, Pat
what I'm saying? Pat Cooper, like that was another person that I cared dearly about. That was really nice to me. But Gilbert Godfrey, it was like we were hysterical laughing. We couldn't even answer the phones. You know what I'm saying? Like a Gilbert went on there, he did like Dracula Godfrey or Frankenstein, all that shit that Gilbert did. We couldn't answer the phones because we were hysterical laughing. We couldn't answer. It was like Gilbert by far was the funniest person that ever walked through that door.
My favorite was when Gilbert would come in there with Artie, and they would, just goof around, and it felt like you were in a high school class again with the teacher, with Robin sitting there going, come on, and she'd be like, Howard, come on. They keep laughing. They're doing other stuff, whatever. And they'd just be goofing and saying the N-word and all this stuff. And, I'm black, and I don't mind racist humor as long as...
Are you black?
I am, kind of.
I can't even see you're black.
You can't even see it. Wait until I take my pants
You want to know
off.
why? Because I'm so racist. That's why.
Oh, you are?
I'm totally racist.
All right.
You are so not black. No, get out of here, bro. You're fucking crazy.
All right, bye. Yeah, he's racist. I can't have him on.
Black people. I'm not racist. I was not allowed to say that word in my house. I grew up in a racist neighborhood. God bless my family because I was brought up as a decent human being. Obviously, I can't really see or care what your goddamn skin color or race is, but I was blessed with an amazing family that would never ever accept any type of racist thing ever. So I obviously see you through my family's eyes. Can you get Jason on here? Because I know you're a big wrestling guy.
Yeah, definitely. I sent him.
Jason, who's my co-writer, I think you guys would probably have much more fun talking to each other than you talking to me.
Oh no, no. People want to hear from you, bro. But I definitely
no. But like, here's the deal: like, if you have a wrestling fan base, you want to talk to Jason because not only is Jason one of the only person in the world that could corral my retarded voice into a book, he also corralled a really interesting musical called The Last Match, which has to do with a professional wrestling, and I know that's your background.
Yep.
And Jason needs to give Jason some props. You guys have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. But we got a lot to talk about first, and I did send him the email. I sent him
okay.
So he should have it. I don't know if is he tech savvy? He must be. He wrote a musical.
No, he's a lot savvy than me. I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten it because I'm pretty sure I thought I sent it. But again, I'm the person that's you can't say retard anymore, right?
You're not supposed to, but
yeah. Okay, well, I'm the retard anyway. But he I would like to have him. There's definitely I could do a better setup than this because there
you go. That's better. That's cool. It's just the light there.
Kindle thing going on, but
perfect.
Anyway, hey, I want to keep talking to you. I think you're awesome. What's your next question? What's the next one?
Oh, I got plenty of questions. Yep. I was just letting you roll. So you were at Stern from 91 to 98, correct?
Yes.
And so we know what you like the best, which was Gilbert, which is right up there with me. But they did bring you back though, right? I know you went to Sirius. That was my first question with the brown leather jacket. Did they ever have you back after that?
Yeah, they had me back as a guest every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? It was like, when I left, I wanted to make sure I didn't burn that bridge. That's when I quit. That's why I quit. Like, it's in the book. It was kind of like the moment I realized that when I told them Tom Chiusano was going to give me a raise and shit like that, I knew I better leave because if I stayed, it would have been ugly.
Tom
and Chiusano. I always wanted to keep that door open. So, what's that?
I was just doing my Tom Chiusano bit.
Oh, yeah. Tom Chiusano. Thank you for saying that, buddy. Appreciate you. Winston.
Yeah. It's Dr. Huge. That's not my name.
What?
Knows my name out here.
What's that?
Yeah, nobody knows my name out here. I'm mysterious, as the ladies say.
You're Rey Mysterio? Is that the deal?
Yeah. They always say I'm Rey Mysterio. That's what the ladies say.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
They run away.
Anyway, it was. There was no money, and I left, and I wanted to leave with a handshake and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to stand up for me, then I got to go.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you were an intern for years, and then they cut they started paying you, but they were only paying you for half the time.
No, not even. Whatever it was, it was a cover up because Tom Chiusano could have got fired.
Yeah.
Like if I had the balls or like the inclination to legally say that they would have been fucked, bro. Like you can't let someone work there for free that long. Winston, you know what that's called? And I mean because you're black, called slavery. Okay. It's called slavery, and you can't do that. And that was outlawed a long time ago. And the fact that I wasn't getting paid there for like that long, Tom Chiusano would have been fired. I probably could have sued them for God knows how much money, not just for the money that they owed me, that they could have paid me, but just based on the fact that you just don't have slaves anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not saying it was a slave because Winston, I enjoyed thoroughly what I did, but technically, in Tom Chiusano's eyes, when he realized, oh my God, I wasn't getting paid. But if you go down, right down the fuck, it's called slavery.
So you were literally
his ass would have been fucked.
Man, I mean, Stern, come on, bro. I was like such a big fan of his. And then, listening all them years like I did, I started realizing pretty quickly that his whole staff are doing like side jobs, and even Gary, his main producer on the biggest show in the world, is going to car lots, and it's like, this is crazy, dude. And then when he did the Sirius deal, he's got like over $500 million. It's like, you can't cut any of these guys a break. Well, he did with Baba Booey eventually, but everybody.
I don't even know that, but the thing that about when we worked there was a code of honor when it came to talking about money, and we didn't talk about anybody else's money. Whatever you made, whatever. Like nobody knew what anybody else was making. How about that?
Yeah.
And it's sort of something I take to the way I am now professionally. But yeah, there was a lot of money. There was a lot of money being made that didn't go around. It sucked. It was just odd.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got to that big point, I was definitely on the bottom of the barrel, but maybe being at the bottom of the barrel made me understand that, like, well, if I'm at the bottom of the barrel and no one's doing anything for me, I better get the fuck out, because ain't nobody gonna help me when there is no barrel. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you did it the right way, I think. I think a lot of the people there, I know Stern does the whole bit, like anybody that even talks about leaving the show, he downs them, says you're stupid, and you're going to be broke, and you're this and you're that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the other people that were joining in, that's why it disturbed me that Baba Booey's in there, basically like, it just smelled like everybody was jealous of what you were trying to do, like getting into Hollywood, or like, people that actually shoot for the moon, like myself, and they're like, people just down you for it because they want you. They're like crabs in a bucket. You know what I mean?
Winston, I
Dr. Huge
didn't go there to become famous. I went there because I thought it was the coolest place in the world. I thought I went there. I got lucky enough to get in the door, and the door shut behind me. I didn't write this book to become famous or any more famous or make any money. I just had a bunch of people that wouldn't let me alone because I had so many great stories, and I wrote the book. And I basically did it to shut them the fuck up. So I'm not here. I'm already in the hole with this book. I'd be happy to make just even. But this goddamn thing is just a bunch of stories that I wrote about how great my life is, to be honest.
And can you answer this question for Mac Diesel? He's already bought your book, by the way.
I hope he reads it and enjoys it. If you don't, let me know, because I won't give you your money back.
There you go, Mac. He wants to know, did you poke any famous broads or just skeezers?
Geezers? What? The famous broads or geezers? Sometimes geezers are famous broads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And guess what? I'm not telling you. Winston, you call me later, I'll tell you what's up. He can go shit in his hat. How about that, son?
Wow. There you go, Mac. He also has one other question. It's in here in the chat somewhere here. On page 184. I'm sure you know every page by heart right now.
Well, I did the Audible, which is coming out like any second. Okay.
He just says, I'm on page 184 of Gorilla Parts. Interesting. Okay, maybe he's just up to that page. So it's not specific.
Hey, it wasn't easy, dude. You understand? Well, first of all, it wasn't easy to write it. And God bless Jason Houser, who I think if you're a wrestling guy, you should talk to. Do you know how hard it was to be able to do the Audible for this?
How hard?
And I'm dyslexic.
Top shelf liquor?
Top shelf liquor. The Audible was 4 hours and 44 minutes. And it took me 26 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The order will be out. Of course, you're a nice guy and you put me on your show, Winston. I will send you
Dr. Huge. Yep.
I will send you the Audible, and I will give you permission. I will give you permission to use any clip you want to have fun with me. How's that sound?
Because I'm gonna have you saying all kinds of wild stuff because I'm pretty good.
Yeah. But how's this? I will let you have fun with the audio and do what you want. because you were very nice and you respected me and you put me on your show to promote my book, and I appreciate that.
I respect everybody out here. This is what the chat knows. These people in the chat, the people watching on all the different platforms. I've been around for a while. 2016 is when I started the podcast, and then when the big C came around in the 2020, I kind of shut everything down because my life was being ruined. So I came back after 5 years. I just started the show up back in November, and we're already bigger than we were the last time, and we're growing. So I'm glad you're along.
No, I got your back no matter what, brother, man. You need anything, you let me know.
All right,
I
thanks,
won't forget that you helped me promote my book. Understand that? I'm going to give you some audible shit. Have fun with it. Do what you want. Just don't keep my mother out of it because I'll find you. But seriously, let's have some fun, man. I'll promote you. You promote me. We'll give each other a reach around. It's great.
Yeah. So what's up with the Dabbleverse? You know about this? I know you were on
You know what? You know what? I don't really know about it. I don't care about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want anything to do with John or any type of kind of controversy. Like maybe because I'm a Virgo, I don't like controversy. I don't want to be at anybody's throat. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, some people love going at each other. I don't. I can't stand it. I want to promote your show and be happy and be nice to you and be nice to the person next to me. I don't want to have any controversy. And whatever that Dabbleverse is or whatever it is, God bless. Have fun. I don't want a part of it.
And speaking of, you're good with Stuttering John. I've seen you on other interviews just in the past year or so. I know he came at you because that's kind of like his thing. I'll tell you this much. Stuttering John, when I would listen to him back in the 90s, early 2000s, I could not stand that guy. He was like a real life troll, and he would troll you. I watched the bit the other day all over again where he tried to set you up with this fake audition, and then it turned out where he got goofed on in the end because it was such a bad bit that he tried to put together that, there was nothing to it. So you did an audition, big deal,
Winston, you want to know, you want to have a little bit of fun facts. If you look at the woman who auditioned me,
mm-hmm.
that was she was the widow of Richie Aprile on The Sopranos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, she was that was Jackie Jr.'s mother, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was the one who auditioned me.
So it was believable.
She was in Tony Atina's wedding with John.
Yep, I remember that.
So if you look at that was Jackie Jr.'s mother. That was the one that had to deal with the Jackie Jr. get killed. It was a huge thing, and the funny thing was when I was Anthony Jr.'s stand-in, and she was on set, because I worked with a lot of people, but I didn't work with everybody because Jackie Jr. didn't necessarily interact with everybody. But the one day I was there, I go, "You don't remember me?" She was like, "No, why?" I go, "You're the one who blew that audition with Stuttering John. Remember me? You tried to audition me and you just fucked up." And she goes, and she walked away.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But Rosie Aprile, I think that was her name. Rosie Aprile.
Yeah. Man, what a terrible bit, John. And
horrible.
I like him way better now.
He fucked that audition up so. John and her fucked that up so bad they could have got me huge, and they didn't.
They could have had you acting like a duck or a chicken or doing whatever. They could have had you taking off your shirt, doing the whole casting couch.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Covered you in some baby oil or something, Diddy oil.
Oh yeah, the duck sauce. I don't know, whatever.
Well, how about this? This is another thing that sticks out in my mind when I hear Steve Grillo. You had Jodie Foster on a show when you were. Was this a podcast or a radio that you?
No, I was working. I was her first. Okay. So if you talk about as far as the way movie production goes, a first team PA is considered the first. You're a PA, but you're in charge of the first team. Which, if any movie that you ever saw, it's Star Wars. First team PA is usually in charge of Mark Hamill. Harrison Ford and Princess Leia. They are in charge of getting them to hair and makeup, getting them dressed, getting to set on time. I was Jodie Foster's first team PA on the Brave one. And just happens that Jodie Foster's the coolest bitch on the planet. Like she was like so cool, so cool. So in the process, that's when Howard just happened to turn to Sirius. And he had Howard. He had 2 channels,
Right?
And he had to fill up all the states. So I said, "Why don't I do a movie review show on Howard 101 or whatever?" And he goes, "Okay." So now, when I got that approval, I was Jodie Foster's first team PA, and we talked every day. So I said, "Jodie, Howard Stern guy." She wasn't. I'm not saying she was or was not a fan, but Sirius was a big thing because it just like blew up.
Right.
And I go, Howard Stern she knew I used to work for him, but I go, he's giving me an opportunity to do this like movie review show, and she said, "Congratulations!" Oh my God! I go, "Jodie, you got to be a guest. You got to be my first guest." She goes, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm not being your guest." Like, she's that real. You know what I'm saying? She was like,
Right.
"Shut the fuck up! Get out of here! No way am I being your guest." But I softened her up by the time we were at the rap party. I was like, "Jodie, come on, could you please be my guest?" She's like, "Fine, I'll be your guest." So as hard as it was, I wound up getting her I corralled her onto the air, and I did an interview with her, and it was pretty goddamn awesome.
Again, I feel like Stern was like a little bit jelly about this. Like,
well, I kind of called them on the air about that. There was a moment where they were playing that, and it was a weird day because it was one of the days like Jimmy Kimmel was there, because I can't stand that motherfucker. I can't stand him. I hated.
I know I don't like him, but why don't
I hate his guts. If I had a chance, I would slap him in his lip. But we're grown ups and we won't do that.
Yeah.
But he happened to be Howard's guest for the day. And that was the day that they decided they were going to review my show. And part of the show was me interviewing Jodie Foster. And there was a moment where, and the side note, I worked at a nightclub before, and I came straight from the club, and I had a couple of beers before I went there. So they both started listening to me interviewing Jodie Foster, not knowing how hard it was for me to get her on the air and what it took me to get there, but I did, and it was a great interview. And Jimmy Kimmel had a couple words to say about it, and I said, "Excuse me, let me ask you a question, motherfucker. Have you ever interviewed Jodie Foster?" He goes, "No." And I said, "Howard, have you?" He said, "No." And I said, "Both of you need to shut the fuck up then." And then I burped and blew a beer burp into Jimmy Kimmel's face.
I love it.
One of my favorite moments in my entire life.
And then he started crying, right?
No, he on the way out, Ganji interviewed him and said, "What do you think of Grillo?" And he goes, "I think Grillo is an awful human being." And I was like, "Thank you very much." Yeah. Thank you. Fuck you. Jimmy Kimmel, you're just a fucking punk. That's all I can say.
Let's go. That's what I like to hear.
Ooh, yeah. You want some real gossip, motherfucker?
Okay,
I did an interview. I think I did an interview. I did an interview with the Daily Mail this morning, and I said that the girl was very good. She was a really good interviewer, and she asked me some great questions. And I said, she asked me questions like, "Why do you think Howard can get away with all this?" And I said, "Why? Because Howard's on his fucking knees, stuck in the dick of the fucking woke mob. That's why no one pays attention to the fact that in 1995, in his pay-per-view special, he did blackface and called his goddamn co-host Robin Quivers a smelly N-word. I won't say that."
Okay,
He called her a smelly N-word, and he was in blackface, and so did Jimmy Kimmel. He was in blackface, and made a legendary basketball player, Karl Malone, look like an old, stupid idiot. And no one called that out at all whatsoever. But poor Jimmy Fallon got yelled at and almost lost his show because he did like a little blackface thing when he was a kid on SNL that wasn't mean. Mm-hmm. Winston, you want to go back and take a look at those other videos? Mm-hmm. He called Robin Quivers a smelly N-word. Wow. And he still has a show. You want to know why? Because he got down on his knees and he sucked the fucking knob of the woke fucking mob.
It's
And
very
that's what I
clear.
said, and I'll stick by that because it's the truth.
I'll tell you, 2013 was like the final year where I even stopped checking in, like early 2013.
Yeah.
ETM died, and I loved Eric the actor. That was like one of my go-tos. Like I still listen to those clips. And he, once he passed away, I heard about it from. I go and I'm listening to the show, and I'm like, "What is this show?" It's the male view, just like Greg Fitzsimmons said in one of the roasts that they have, and that's totally what happened. Once they lost Artie, it just went. Woo.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just the fact that they all forget about what he did in 1995. Forget about he dropped the N-word a million times a day. About going through Daniel Carver. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I grew up in Canarsie. I grew up in Brooklyn. I wasn't allowed to say the N-word if it hurt somebody. But goddamn right, if I spoke to my boys, that's my end. That's my end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a way to say the word. But if it came out hurtful, it was a different story. So anyway, he kind of did that in a way for a lot of years, and it was kind of like okay, but now with this woke society and shit like that, and the fact that no one's fact checking him or Jimmy Kimmel, it doesn't make any sense because they both did some awful things with those words.
I remember listening on the radio in the early 2000s and being amazed that the N-word can be said over and over and over by everybody. Even the callers would call in and just start saying it. And then they would bleep out like ass or just like random,
Yeah,
and I'd
yeah.
be like in the car, like, what the hell? But it's not like I'm Mr. Sensitive or anything like that. It's just, like, come on.
I can't answer any of that, but the fact that other people were punished horribly for like a small infraction, and two people like Howard and Jimmy Kimmel that went out of their way to do racist fucking things that's documented. That you can go to YouTube and look up, and they're still on the air and no one says shit. There's something wrong.
Yeah. See, I don't believe in going back and getting after people, but the thing
I don't either. But it's the reality.
Other people get it, but not them, right?
Yeah, but it's the reality that it's still there. I don't want anybody to be hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not doing that anymore. I don't know. You know what? Fuck Jimmy Kimmel anyway. He can go suck a dick. But the fact that these people are so angry at people that don't deserve it, and there's people that have done worse and they're not paying attention to it, that bothers me.
Let's play a game real quick. I'm gonna show some pictures, name some names, and give me a take on, or just your thoughts on every person that I show on the screen here.
Okay.
First up, Tracy.
Love my Tracy. If you go to my book, right back here, we have a picture kissing each other when we forgave each other, and we loved it. Where is it? Right next to Stamos, right here. Me and Tracy are kissing and making up. Okay.
Hold on, let me show it. Keep that photo up. I got to put it up on the big screen here.
Yeah.
There we go. Look, there's she loves you.
Yeah. No, listen. The whole I hate to be the guy that goes, well, you got to read the book. Seriously, I detailed all that shit in the book. Yeah. If you don't mind going and checking it out. Again, it's not all about the Stern Show.
Right.
I just have some really interesting, great stories.
So yeah, Tracy's cool. I mean, what a great segment. They
that was classic. Come on, it says top shelf stories. Come on, man.
Top shelf stories. Look, how about this guy, Ralphie Cakes?
God rest his soul. Hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Winston, hold on a second. We were such good, Winston. We were such good fans. This was one of my Christmas presents from Ralph.
Oh, you got the Jedi.
Yeah,
Jedi mask.
That's how close we were at some point. And this is like back in the day. This has got some battle scars on it and shit.
Signed?
It's also signed by both Boba Fett's, Little Boba Fett and Big Boba Fett. Jeremy Bullock and what's his name? Yeah, both of them. They signed it. But this was a gift from Ralph.
That's a dope.
So we were actually that close He was also my first lesson in when I left the show about, oh, you're not on the show anymore.
Wow. Yeah, he was like, if you're not
Yeah,
famous,
they,
you
they,
got
they
no
kind of
pull, you
sucked.
want
They,
something.
it kind of sucked. I really thought we were closer than that. So, but I still got that goddamn Boba Fett helmet.
That's cool. And then how about Scott the engineer?
Oh God, that poor man.
He
Uh,
really he took so much damage.
he was uh a wonderful. He still is a wonderful, wonderful human being. I kind of had like an analyzation about this shit, like a little. I think it was like a week ago. Like he just got paid to be the engineer. He never got paid for the abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So imagine the fact that okay, maybe he made $120,000 a year for being a really good engineer, but Howard made money like $2 million a year on the air, and he never got paid for being an on-air personality.
Yeah, that's messed up.
And
They
then
got close.
when his wife was dying, then she needed a just like hypothetically, but I'm pretty sure this is really kind of ballpark close. Scott needed like $750,000 to help with the treatment.
Mm.
$750,000 is what Howard makes by the time it's 11:30 in the morning. Okay, he could have easily, quietly on the DL, went, "Yo, Scotty, got your wife, no problem." And his wife Robin was on the air all the time.
Mm-hmm. I remember
Okay,
that.
he could have hit him off. Got you, bro. Guess what he didn't do? Nothing.
Didn't give any money.
Nothing. And then when Scott decided he had to do like a GoFundMe thing, right?
Mhm.
Because he wanted to save his wife's life. He was under strict no Howard Stern name on the show.
Right.
Really? Like my wife's dying. I'm trying to like raise money. But do not use my name if you're gonna raise money.
Yeah, it's
Like, what
cutthroat.
kind of horrible human being does that? Like, I don't understand. You
That's
know, he could have gave them money easy without even batting an eyelash on the DL. Yo, show Scotty, shut up. I got you. Don't say nothing. And maybe, you know, that Robin might still be alive right now. I don't know. Can't is the motherfucker. But what he did do was made Scotty go to GoFundMe, which means like in my neighborhood back in the day, man, you know, somebody asked me, a couple people asked me, why don't you just do a GoFundMe? I'm like, I come from a neighborhood that's when they called you beggar. You know, and listen, we're in a different world right now, but you're begging. You're begging.
Mhm.
I don't want to beg for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it's a different world now, but like, you know, a bunch of people said, why don't you do a GoFundMe? I was like, no. That's
Yeah.
the worst thing I could ever think of. But Scott was forced to go to a GoFundMe thing where he was restricted for using Howard's name to try to raise money.
Yeah,
So talking about bend over twice.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I got 3
Bend
more
over twice
people.
because I'm gonna fuck you hard. And then he got put on like double dog duty because he was union. They couldn't fire him. Someone's calling me. He got sent into the basement and couldn't do anything. He wasn't even part of the show anymore.
Damn.
And then let's not forget about what he did to Howard Stern TV. Mike Ganji, Doug Goodstein, Scott DePace, Brian Phelan, Richie Wilson. He did them all wrong too. So
Yeah.
imagine being that wealthy and just destroying the lives of people that were so loyal to you for so long.
I know.
How do you
Howard
wake up in
TV
the
was
morning?
great. Howard TV
How
was
do you
so
wake up in
good.
the
In the
I got
East.
people. Something must have just happened because my phone's just blowing up right now. What did you do to me, Winston? What did you do?
We'll go
Why is
through a
my
couple more
phone blowing up right now?
I'll go through a couple more photos here, and then I'll let you.
Yeah, okay, let's go. Let's go. I'm down. Let's go.
All right, Fred North.
Oh, my favorite person in the
He
world.
seemed like a cool guy.
Beyond no. Let me tell you something. There are people that are smart, and there's people that are geniuses, and then there's fucking Fred Norris. Fred
Yep.
Norris is and beyond. You think Howard's smart? Howard's a retard compared to Fred Norris. I'm serious. I will go on record to say that. And if Howard doesn't back me up, then he's just as much as a retard as he fucking. I'm telling you, Fred Norris is one of the smartest people I ever met in my entire life. My favorite person ever.
Quick with them samples, boy.
What's that?
He was quick with those samples.
Oh, dude, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like there was nothing that could replicate. Jackie Martling was fucking fast with the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But what Fred did was just on another plane. Jackie Joke Man had Howard jokes, 5 jokes before he even got there. Fred Norris had those goddamn sound effects 3 days before Howard even woke up. And on top of the fact that no one really understands is the fact that he is an absolute genius when it comes to music. I love his music. I've been to every show that he's ever done. His first album, I know every word to every song. He's one of my favorite musicians ever. He is like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
So he's a better musician than Stuttering John?
Oh my God. And I know I hate to give John a compliment because I do know every word that John's album, only because I was stuck in the garage while he fucking recorded it. But Fred is Stevie Ray Vaughan good.
Wow, I remember King Norris.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. I will put down 100% everything about one of my favorite musicians in the world is Fred Norris.
Wow, I wasn't expecting you to say that, but that's pretty cool.
On top of that, he's one of my favorite people in the world. And there's Quivers of Life. It's sad. It's always going to make me cry. I'm so sorry that I don't have the relationship that I did with her. And when I look at that picture right now that you just put there, that's when we were really best friends.
Mm.
And the fact that I don't have any contact with her or I can't call it my friend anymore and be there. And that picture makes me a little sad, I got to be honest.
All right, let's switch it then, because this is a comedy show here. So how about teasing?
You understand? He also came on after I left, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't there when I was there.
You know him, right?
No, he wasn't there when I was there. But I will tell you my I was a fan no matter what. But the first time we actually met, he was leaving Scores and I was walking into Scores, and I go, "Oh my God, Artie Lang." I was like, "Oh my God, I'm a big fan." I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Steve Grillo. And he goes, "Steve Grillo?" He goes, "You went to Hunter College. Your father's a mailman." He goes, "I know everything about you. What are you, crazy?" I was like, "Really?" It was pretty fucking awesome. Like, I was like, "You know my dad's a mailman?" I was like, "What?"
Oh, he was like,
"I was like, you
must know everything about you."
What's that?
It must be a lot of celebrities that come up to you like, "Oh my God,
yeah,
hello."
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The real quick, there was talking about Artie. I was at a Met game and I was walking out, and I had to take an awful shit. And I looked outside, and the line for the porta potties was down the block. I begged those security guys to let me back in to take a shit. And they wouldn't let me. So I was arguing with the security guard. And who's walking out is Judd Apatow. Yeah, Judd Apatow's walking out, and I was like, "Hey, man, you worked with my friend." He's like, "Who?" I was like, "Artie Lang." He's like, "How's he doing?" I go, "I don't know, but I think every time I don't hear that anybody has anything to say that he's doing good." He goes, "I think the same thing." "Oh my God, you're Steve Grillo. Can I take a picture?" What happened? I want to take a picture with me. I was like, "Put me in the movie, bitch. What the fuck?"
Exactly, yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, but I think everybody has the same conclusion, is the fact that no one's hearing from Artie, is the fact that he's still alive and doing well.
Good. Hopefully he is. I know he had a whole lot of, problems and this and that. It was very public.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
But even the top echelon doesn't know what's going on with him. And that means that he's probably doing well.
Cool. Well, I'll let you go. I'll let you have the rest of your night.
I mean, you need to talk. You need to talk to my friend Jason, man.
Definitely. I got his email.
Do a whole show with him because his show, The Last Match, is right up your alley, dude.
Yeah, I'll have him on.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep. I have all kinds of people. I've had all the famous people on, all kinds of famous wrestlers, and now Steve Grillo. I mean,
hold on a sec. I'm gonna pull it off the wall because it's on the wall. Here's my old headgear, bro. There you go.
Yes.
I put it on the wall. I was a wrestler, and these wrestlers put their shoes on and they put the headgear on the wheel. But this is my life, and I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for wrestling. So there you go.
Cool. Thanks, bro. And hey, you got to come on again sometime. And
yeah, whenever you want, man. Gorilla Parts is on Amazon, Audible, softback hardcover. It's gonna be great. The other thing too, the Audible thing that's just coming out right now.
Okay.
I just what a pain in the goddamn ass. Holy shit. You think you're reading your own words, it's no big deal. 44 hours and 44 minutes took me 24 hours. I hope you enjoy it. I told you I've given you the order. Have fun with it. Do what you want. Write some skits. Just make sure you tag me in it. How's that?
Will do. All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Winston. I appreciate it.
Talk to you. All right. I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, pal.
Take it easy. There you have it, folks. We got Steve Grillo on, had Handsy on multiple times through the years. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, put this out there to everybody. If you guys want to talk a little bit about wrestling from last night as well, or go over some stuff that we just talked with Grillo about, do you miss Ralph even though he stole Stamos from you? In the shit story rules, I bet it was a sinker or stinker. Could have been a stinker, but it wasn't. It was a good one. So, again, thanks to him for coming on. He was going to have his buddy on that does the wrestling musical. I'll have him on in the future. And, yeah, I'm killing it, Mac Diesel. We're doing it over here, baby. I'm going to get more super famous people. Like I said, you never know who's going to show up. Hopefully I get more into this Howard Stern world thing because, that's one of my, other than wrestling, I listen to a lot of old Howard Stern. Of course, none of the new stuff. Sorry, Howard. It's like, Howard is a big part of the reason why I even got into the podcast game to begin with. And I remember telling all my friends, you should start a podcast, start a live stream. This is when it was starting to get going. And then the coof came around. Everybody's doing it now. But trust me, we're still the originals around here. I learned from the best. I listened to hours and hours and hours of it. I know what's going on. I know how to fucking do this. Okay, folks? I'm not scared of anybody. You understand? Give me Mel Gibson. Give me who The Rock. Give me any of them. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not starstruck by anybody. So let's talk a little bit about wrestling, and then we'll wrap this deal up. Do I have some, what do we have to say about this wrestling from the other night? El Americano Grande. Can you believe that? People are upset with Chad Gable coming from the, what do they call it? The Gulf of America. We're mad about that now. We're mad about everything, right? Guys are ridiculous out here. Again, like Grillo was saying with all this stuff, people need to lighten up, or at least if you're going to go after everybody for old stuff, how come you're not going after some of the top dogs out here that are crying on TV and things like that about nonsensical things? I can't stand this world. Everybody loves Pat McAfee. Again, I show that picture they showed on Raw last night of Pat McAfee with that face and that wide open mouth. Oh my God, it was so cringe. So I took a picture of it. I put it online. People were like, yep, I like it. I watch his show every day and he's the best and blah, blah, blah. And I'm here begging for people to share the show and retweet and like it. Go to YouTube. I'm live right now on there. If you're watching on replay, hit that fucking like button. Help a brother out. TikTok kicked me off a couple weeks ago, and they still won't let me go live. Well, they technically will let me go live, but they won't let me go live through my restreaming deal here, because now I have to go through them and prove that I'm not like crazy and spreading misinformation on a comedy show. Again, I can't stand this world. It's really obnoxious. You still listen to Stern, Coach? What's your problem? I guess it must be habit. Right? Like I said, I stopped, 12 years ago. And you're talking to a guy that I was listening religiously every single day. Sometimes I would listen to the show twice because I would just have it on in the background and, be doing things or whatever. Oh man, when Artie left the show, or ETM left the show, or left the earth, and oh my God, could you imagine if ETM was still around? He would totally be on the show, and I'd be talking to him. I would have Roddy Piper on because I have links to Roddy Piper. He would have loved me. Oh, it's just very upsetting, all this death stuff. So RIP to everybody. And let's do it correctly. And again, this whole Americano Grande deal and these people out here that are upset about all kinds of things. This is racist, that is racist. I know we did that bit tonight, but you know, it was more of a Grillo take, which I can't really disagree with. You know, everybody needs to calm down. Haven't you noticed? I don't know how old everybody is in the chat individually or whatever, but do you remember in 2010 there was a thing called Occupy Wall Street? That was mostly like Democrats and younger people, right? They were starting to figure out what was going on because of the 2008 collapse. And then you had, I don't want to be misinformation, TOSs, don't worry, I'm just speaking from the top of the head. Don't kick me offline or anything. And then the Tea Partiers on the right, they were starting to figure it out too. Like, wait, why are we paying all this stuff? And then all of a sudden Trump comes around and now everybody's divided. And people come on my show before and they just look at me. I've never seen them in the chat. And they're like, you're a lefty and you're this and you're that. And it's like, am I? Am I really? You know, and then other people have hit me off before. Michael Berry Sr. for one was said to me on a chat, like, you seem to lean conservative. You're conservative. I'm like, I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm none of this shit. I see through it. I'm so above it all. And I know what they're doing. The powers that be, the people that actually run the world, what they're doing is they're separating everybody. And then everybody can fight and bicker about what's a woman and the borders are open, the borders are closed, whatever, right? And they're going to fight with each other about it, the common people. In the meantime, the left and the right, the leaders of those groups, are going to do whatever they want. And you guys are all getting cucked. Just like the country's getting cucked by foreign countries because the people in charge don't give a shit about any of us. It's a big club and you ain't in it. None of us are in it, especially Dr. Huge. That's why I need your support out here. You know, tell everybody. Dr. Huge Show exists. I may do some more weekday shows, if you want to call it. I may show up late night. I may show up during the day. I'm reinvigorated here. I'm going to get this thing. We got to turn this fucking franchise around, folks. Yep. Do him with the AI now on the show. Do him with the AI. Maybe I will. If I figure out what that means. But yeah. That's what they're doing, folks. That's what the world's trying to do to you. Your neighbors aren't your enemies. Okay. We got to get a handle on this and start looking at who's really running the show and get after that. So with that, I will leave you. No more wrestling talk. I'll save it for Saturday or maybe another day this week. And thank you for watching. Shout out to Philly Sports Pride. Shout out to Coach, Mac Diesel, the Sleaze, everybody that showed up and watch this. Go check out Steve Grillo's book again, Gorilla Parts. And, we're making connections. One of these days, who knows? Maybe I'll get Jodie Foster on too. All right, everybody, have a good night, and we'll talk soon.